that says something about flowers. Oh, are we live?
Yep.
Bastion's been learning Japanese, and our producer has a Dragon Ball Z shirt, so he was trying to read it. What's it say?
He's got to spread that thing out. Do, ra, go, dragon. Ball.
Oh, so it's just Dragon Ball Z in Japanese.
Barus.
So
Yeah.
you just put the same words twice.
Yeah.
Doragon
So
Barus.
So that shirt is
Dragon
subbed.
Balls.
It's
Z.
subbed, not dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Subtitles at the bottom.
Last time we talked about they have a language, or they have an alphabet that is designed for foreign words. That's that alphabet.
Oh,
And
interesting.
it's phonetic. Sometimes the phonetic aspect is a little weird, but essentially it says Doragon Baru Z.
Huh. Fun.
So there you go.
Anyway, now that we're done staring at Corey's chest, or are we? It's right behind the camera. You won't know.
You'll never know.
I'll know.
Kelly knows.
So, welcome to iScoop. Last week's episode went over a little bit. We're going to try and keep it down to an hour. Appreciate it to all those who stuck it out and dealt with the pudding rant. But
It's true. It's all truth.
today's episode, we're going to kind of talk about the Commander precons to the best of our ability without having a fancy prompt screen to go through all the singles. We're going to just bombard Corey with questions of, I know what the effect is, but I can't remember the card title, which is like my signature thing. I can tell you almost any card in Magic's history, just can't tell you the name.
As long as no one's around to double check it,
Oh, yeah.
I bet you could name the ability of every card.
All of them. Even Juju Bubble.
I remember that.
Yeah, cumulative upkeep 1. If you play a card, it says play a card. I don't know if it's errata to cast a spell, but it could trigger off land drops. And then pay 2, gain a life. So you could tech that into your...
They used to think that needed a cumulative upkeep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta pay out the ass to
Yeah.
keep this in play.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody online about it, and on to the point I was just saying, Corey, Theros, God, new one, white, Heliod, the Sun Crowned. So people were talking about, well, you could play that card with Heliod. I'm like, no, you're not. You won't. You have to play Juju Bubble last, because if you cast Heliod, it goes away.
Yeah.
It's a turn 2.
Yeah.
Heliod's a turn 3, so you got to play it out of sequence. It's weird. It's just a bad card.
I will say though that that's something that the deeper that I get or re-get into competitive Magic, the more I miss combos like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just little synergies.
yeah, that's the joy of Magic. Is
Yeah.
that every card has something you can do.
Even one with nothing.
Yeah, 90% of it, like that Heliod Juju Bauble, is the stupidest thing that you could be doing.
Coco Heliod is like taking a hold of Modern, I guess.
Oh my gosh, awesome. Well, good for that. But
Spike Feeder, remember that?
yeah.
Pull +1 counter off,
All
gain a
right.
life.
So there's some way to break everything that was previously a stupid combo until you broke it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do miss things like that, like Crawworm. Like thinking Crawworm was awesome. Any revised play is if Aaron Fetty is watching. God bless you, Aaron Fetty. You remember Crawworm?
He gave me a freaking heart attack of envy the other day in our group chat. He's one of our buddies, old school Magic player. Used to have some power, and then his collection got stolen on the trunk of his car. Yeah, it hurts.
Everything.
Yeah.
He got the car ended up getting stolen.
Yeah.
Whoever it was like, hey, if there's a Lotus in this thing, I'm just gonna run away with the whole vehicle next time.
But
Oh, Fetty.
so he sent a picture in the group chat, and it was 3 packs. One was Urza's Legacy, the one that has Mishra's Workshop in it, whatever Urza said that is.
Mm-hmm.
One was Portal 3 Kingdoms,
Ooh.
and the other one was, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
After them two, that's like $7,000. He's like, found these, stowed away, and I was like, my heart, because I want a sealed Urza's pack, because I had a few of the The one with the hammer as a symbol. I don't remember which one that one is. But I
Is that
opened
the
them.
Saga? I think that
Yeah,
might be
Urza Saga.
Yeah.
I opened it for content. I think the other one's Urza's Destiny. Anyway, feel free to correct me in the chat. I need it.
Put him back in his place.
Yes.
Tell him that he failed to instantaneously identify what a Magic set symbol from the early 2000s or late 90s was.
And then do it harder.
Yeah, that's the coup de grace right there.
But so then come to find out, those were the wrappers that were left from the Chaos draft he was at in Gen Con 2 years ago. So he did get cards out of those packs, but
Wow,
they were opened up so well that in a picture they looked real.
that's funny.
ADHD. What alcoholic beverage are we brought? Unofficially not sponsored by.
We are absolutely not sponsored by Two Toms in Fort Wayne, but we have a Chong IPA. This is from, and it was one of their 420 releases. You all remember 420? That was Doge Day, the day we all got rich on Dogecoin.
Hodl.
I used all of my Dogecoin winnings to buy this one can of beer.
Oof.
It's refreshing in all ways,
Even for the table.
even when it splashes on the table. The can
It did
didn't
taste
The
good.
can didn't open all the way. It's not a flaw in the brew itself. It's a lovely, lovely IPA, but it's got a little bit of weird kind of dankness.
Cheers.
Indiana still hasn't legalized yet. I'm just waiting for the day when
Yeah.
I can get some actual marijuana brewed in with the hops. I don't think it would make you high. I think it
No, they
requires
probably-
some kind of heat.
Yeah,
But,
they'd probably do it. It would probably end up like a.
but just the
CBD.
flavor profile, and especially as you nose this, it's a really great. I really like this beer. It's very hoppy.
I can't smell it. Normally, I have a terrible sense of smell, and then my allergies. It sucks not being able to smell things and then having allergies because you're just blindsided. It's not like, oh, flowers, I should be cautious. It's just like, ah!
I got COVID for a minute, and I lost my sense of smell, but not my sense of taste,
Oh, that's an interesting
which was
combination.
exciting. It was awesome. I poured a bunch of nutmeg on my tongue. I got nothing.
Oh, we should have got that recorded.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I did have that realization of if somebody farts, I'll just sniff it. I won't, I won't even know to escape
Yeah.
if there's smoke in the house.
Oh, well, I hang out at card shops, so not having a sense of smell is like a superpower.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah. Konami has a rule that if you smell real bad, you can automatically lose a round at a tournament.
We need to get a deodorant company to sponsor us. I don't think they'd go near us.
I saw
We're
some-
Magic players.
Yeah. There's that one chick that was selling bathwater, but I don't think it was selling for hygiene's sake.
Did she play Magic?
Nah, she just streams, I think.
Oh.
Corey, what's her name? This is supposed to be your neck of the woods. It's a Twitch stream.
Well, I'll tell you what. Bathwater, deodorant. Let's change the. Hey, you know what?
I thought we were going for beer.
If you smell like hops, you're welcome to the Magic tournament.
Beer scented deodorant
I did have a moment
and body wash.
a long time ago. I was working at the Game Preserve in Indianapolis.
Good store.
Great store, does not sponsor us. Please do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was running the Friday Night Magics, and it was right when The Lord of the Rings had been huge. Harry Potter was becoming huge. You just drive down the interstate and you would see billboards with wizards and stuff on them.
Right.
And I was trying to figure out why is Magic not mainstream?
Right.
It is everything that apparently all of pop culture is desperate for. It's also a great teaching tool for kids. It's fun for adults. It's fun for all ages. It's collectible. It feeds into all your obsessions. And this is Wizards is the most popular thing that there is.
Yeah.
And that same week, as I was wondering that,
They announced Strixhaven and the Lord of the Rings set.
no,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
no, they hadn't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
This was a Time Spiral block And
So like last month.
yes, we had. I was running Friday Night Magic that same week, and we're in the Keystone at the Crossing Fashion Mall, with this little game store in there, and everybody's playing Magic, and these three girls, I don't know how old they were, probably teenagers, clearly had never been in the game preserve before. They were out, throughout the fashion mall, and they walk in, and they're laughing at some joke that they said, and they walk in, and they see all these teen dudes their age, and they're all like up to something cool's happening in this place.
Right.
And they all three just stopped, and one of them was like, "What's going on here?" And I was trying to think of something that I could say that would make it interesting. It's like poker, but you get to stack your deck or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. Before I can say anything, though, the chef dressed up as a biker playing against a 10-year-old sitting next to me says, "A game of dragons and sorcery." And all three girls, they had that big grin, and then their eyes, the smiles didn't leave, but their eyes turned to horror.
Yeah.
And they all three just kind of did that, slink along the wall like little shadows back out of the building. And I suddenly realized, okay,
That makes more sense, yeah.
I get why this is not overtaking the world. But just calm down. Guys, calm down. Get some deodorant. Don't freak out the new players.
Yeah.
It is a game of dragons and sorcery. That guy was right.
Yeah.
It's also a cool thing that you can do and have fun socially.
Right. I remember back when I worked at a large manufacturing facility that rhymes with Rhonda. I would have to explain, because I'd talk to people. And they're like, "Hey, what do you do?" I'm like, "I play Magic." They're like with a hat and a rabbit? I'm like, God, no. You see my large ass pretending to be a freaking street magician? How am I going to sneak out of a box? It's not going to cut me in half. There's just not enough force. But, it's like, I don't know. It's like super nerd poker, and everybody's got life. And they're like, "What are you talking?" It's weird. It's just a card game. And they're like, "Okay." You got to think, I was working with mostly boomers. And they're like, "Well, that sounds like a waste of time." I was like, "I don't know. You watch TV."
Yeah.
So, cool.
Boomers.
Yeah. Gotta love them.
Boomers.
In other news, somebody offered to sell me some power. Yeah. So,
Really?
Yeah.
What are they asking?
We haven't gotten that far in the conversation. He asked if I was interested, but he's got an alpha beta twister. Or time twister, not an alpha betas. The rest of them are white border.
Okay.
He doesn't have a Lotus, so he's got the Power 8.
The Power 8. And one of them is an alpha. The Time Twister is an alpha.
Yeah, I looked at it graded.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, Dan, if you're listening, shh, you didn't hear this part. A graded 7.5 alpha Time Twister just sold for $21,000.
Wow.
It costs $100 to get an express grading
Wow.
from PSA.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. And I'm interested. I just got to find the capital. But I'll flip a Time Twister.
Take some money. That you could buy a car for that.
Yeah,
You could buy a nice car, used.
absolutely.
You could buy a really nice used car for
You
that.
sell two of those, you buy a Tesla.
What would Elon Musk do?
Put Doge on it and then grade it.
Yeah. If I were Elon Musk, I would buy a bunch of Doge and then tweet about it and then sell it. And then buy it and tweet about it and sell it.
That's what they did with Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
That was Tesla, not Elon.
Yeah.
And they said from the get-go it was a short-term hold. They had no intentions on keeping it forever.
I can't blame them. But we're not here to talk about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, sorry. It was the ADHD podcast.
We're here to talk
sometimes
about paper cryptocurrency
Yeah.
with pictures of wizards on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the reserve list is. You can't mine it anymore, right?
That's true. You can't.
So, the Commander Precons.
Yeah. Tell me about them. I've not looked at them at all.
All right, but you're familiar with the classes from drafting, right?
Yes.
All right, so red, white, got a good one.
Should we outline the classes? Let's outline them
you
as
wanna-
we go.
You want to
Okay.
go over? Because I'm
Yeah.
going to be talking a lot during this.
Yep. So, all right, red, white. So you're talking about Lorehold. The ideas are they didn't want it to look just like Boros. It's not quite as aggressive. It has a strong graveyard theme, which is kind of exciting for red, white. Basically, they were trying to find some new space in red and white where they could get a little more card draw, a little more essentially card advantage things. Can't be too good because since white can remove everything and red has other means of destroying everything, just pairing them up with Brainstorm would get ugly.
Give me white brainstorm. Me and you can brainstorm, but give me white brainstorm.
So, yeah, minor graveyard themes. Every time you remove something from your graveyard, they tend to manage to pull bonuses out of that. And then they have various exile from your graveyard or return things in your graveyard to your hand kind of aspects.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to pull them up.
Lorehold.
Yeah, that's Lorehold.
What's the name of the elder dragon that founded them?
Corey, you're better with the lore than I am.
First name, Lorehold, the dragon.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah.
I don't want the full set. I just want the commander stuff. See, if we weren't so ADHD during our setup time, we talked about what we were doing. We know. We kind of wing it. The whole part of the conversation, part of the point, part of what we do, is it's a natural conversation. And if you like what we talk about or think we're funny, you get to be in the room with us as we're just bullshitting. That said, we both have a hard time focusing, and I did not pull up. Velamachus is Lorehold.
That's it. Velamachus Lorehold.
But
In the Harry Potter theme of every ancient character just has a ludicrous name, and then their last name is something that you're familiar with.
yeah. Well, to be fair though, it's named after them.
It is named after them.
Right. Like that's the point.
Much like Gryffindor was named after Godric Gryffindor, and Slytheris was named after Stealthy Stab Slytheris, and McGonagall was named after Mrs. McGonagall.
What? Why? It's just showing me Strixhaven. I know it's in Strixhaven. Bad cards. No, that's not an edge. There's a counter spell that strips out all of the card you counter from your opponent's deck. That's really good. It lets them draw if it's in their hand. But I think
Yeah, it's like extirpate mixed with it only counters instants and sorceries.
yeah. But,
Okay, so it's like a negate mixed with extirpate,
yeah, but you get a
but it's not split second.
You get a punish turn 2 thought seize. No more. Stop that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because that's needed. That thought seize is a preemptive counterspell.
That it is. But while he's looking that up, let's just you and me. Just ignore Kelly. You and me are going to talk. And we're going to talk about extirpate. What an awesome, awesome card. Total flavor win. Extirpate means to remove entirely. Just delete. What an asshole. It means to just completely delete from existence. All right? So, first of all, beautiful vocabulary word, and we all play Magic for the vocabulary.
Yeah.
It helps us to be better than everybody else. Secondly, what it does, flavor win, actually extirpates the card from your opponent's deck, library, hand. The deck and the library are the same thing. Thank you for correcting me, Cody. Corey was really flagging me down. Whoever that asshole is without his shirt on over there, jumping up and down.
Man, you just got
Dressed as Super Mario. I can't tell what he's doing. I'm going to try to not to focus on him. But anyway, extirpate completely extirpates that card from your opponent's game. And it has split second, which was an old time spiral mechanic.
that was a good mechanic.
Yeah, it was. So while these iGen fools are playing on their phones, let's go ahead and talk about paper boomer magic. None of us were boomers. We were all millennials and a couple of Gen Yers. But anyway, we remember Split Second came out in Time Spiral Block. The idea was it focuses on the present, right? You remember that? You guys remember? Aaron Fetty's on there. He clicked like on this video. Hi, Aaron. If you don't remember that, then that's okay, because this is a very inclusive show. But it's not for children. We curse a lot. And so if you are a child, first of all, life starts at 30, so get your shit together. Secondly, don't watch, because we curse a lot.
Yeah.
But tell your parents to watch or to sponsor us. If your parents own a company, we would gladly sell our souls for that. Oh,
Corey,
Kelly's back.
Can you try and find the visual spoil and send it to me? I don't want us just be on camera searching. What? The visual spoil for the Commander decks. I don't need it for the lore hold. I bought that one. So the main card is like Auric. He's an archaeology guy. That's been in white for a long time. I think Alpha had a guy that would pay colorless and a white, tap him, return an artifact from your graveyard to your hand. Like Argonian Archivist or
Argivian.
Argivian. Yeah. Corey,
But,
you did that in 2 seconds.
Was that an alpha? I thought that was in Antiquities.
Maybe it was Antiquities.
I think it was Antiquities. That was the artifact set.
All right, but Ossiger.
Fetty, you remember that?
I love that set.
Sponsor us, Fetty. Sponsor us.
He just pre-ordered some Strixhaven off me, actually.
I love Aaron Fetty. We need
He's
to get
one of
him.
my favorite people.
Yeah.
He's actually looking for people for a Chaos Draft. You want me to include you in that group chat of ours?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Ossiger the Reconstructor, he's the face card. 2 colorless, red and a white, legendary creature, giant artificer, 4/4. Vigilance, pay colorless, sack an artifact. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. X, tap, exile an artifact with a converted mana cost X from your graveyard. Create 2 tokens that are copies of the exiled card. Activate only as a sorcery.
Whoa.
Card advantage in red-white.
Yeah.
It takes setup, because red-white's not good at that, but card advantage.
Because heaven forbid if you could just
But it's also
cast.
it's mana ramp, so you could eat the artifact lands and turn them into land tokens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then the other one, because there's in the Commander precons, you can always swap, is Alibu, or Libu. I hope it's Libu, because it's Dragon Ball. Ancient Witness, 3 colorless, red and a white, legendary artifact creature golem. Artifact subtype means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd run Oscar if he was an artifact.
Who's Oscar?
He's the one I just read.
Oh.
Right. He's a 4/5.
You gave me a lot of info just then.
Yeah. Other artifact creatures you control have haste. Whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control attack, Alibo, Ancient Witness, deals X damage to any target, and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control.
Wow.
So, in this deck, in my deck that I'm building, this card reminded me immediately of Myr Battlesphere. Did you play during Mirrodin Besieged?
No.
You were leaving right around that time?
I was leaving just before that time, unfortunately.
All right, so it's a 7 cast, 4/7. ETB, make 4 1/1 Myr tokens. Whenever it attacks, tap any number of Myr. It gets +X/+0, where X is the number of Myr you tapped. And then it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of Myr.
What was the base power toughness?
4/7 is a big boy. It's basically, you ever remember Katamari Damacy? You're a giant ball, and you just roll shit over, and you pick up the like moon and.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
so
yeah.
that's basically what it is, but Myr.
That's amazing.
So, Alibu in that,
Creature evolution is so funny in Magic.
yeah,
Where it started off as like a creature has to be categorically bad, and then it gets worse.
yeah,
And that somehow changed into like, okay, mana cost should be appropriate to the size and shape. And then finally they caught on to the fact that constructed Magic just kills creatures all the time, and now
Yeah.
every creature is shocking. Anyway, I'm impressed that a creature that good. I mean, Tarmogoyf was around back then, but Tarmogoyf would still die to
right.
every removal spell.
Yeah, but dies to removal isn't really an argument. But this is a 7 cast, so it's not coming out.
Yeah, that is a pretty huge.
Now,
But it's all colorless.
Yeah, you could ramp into it, especially if you're running mirror. Like there's a mirror deck, and they're all mana rocks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But in this deck, what I'm doing is I'm just running everything artifacts because artifacts matters. I'm talking. I'm gonna spam Mirror Battlesphere to get that token generation.
Nice.
I'm running stuff like Gerard, Weatherlight Captain, the red-white one they made of him. That whenever he dies, exile him, return any number of creatures and artifacts that went to the graveyard this turn to the battlefield. And Mycosynth Lattice. So I'm just gonna like eat all my mana and all my cards and him, bring them all back, generate the mana with Krark Clan, and do stupid stuff that lets me just, prototype portal or Mirror Battlesphere, just ways of cheating it out. And the whole point is I really just want to play a game. Now, mind you, I'm normally very, very like high tier spike, but I've learned I have to have some nicer decks for certain groups.
Yeah.
So I really want to make X equal to about 20, and then have Alibo or Libu, whatever, and Mirror Battlesphere, and just nuke one person for 40 damage with effect damage. That's it. If that happens once, I can take the deck apart. That said, I've got about $1,000 in that deck already.
Woo!
Yeah.
Play for the combo. What would you say is the average cost of not a crazy souped up commander deck, but just the average cost?
About 300. 300 gets you a well-rounded deck. But that said, I'm not never discount a budget deck. I host events. I don't know if you guys know that. Guire Gaming had a commander pod, one of my events.
It's actually a sponsor, sort of.
Yeah.
It makes money separate from us, and I don't get paid. But Kelly does if you buy a thing from him.
Yeah, I'll get money.
Kelly McGuire Gaming.
See, the joke on that is back when I was on a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh team, Wise Guys, I had the running joke was I was going to quit my job and become a rapper under the guise MC Guire. and I got like a jersey, it says MC Guire on it.
I like
and then Guire Gaming came about while I was a Wise Guy. And that's probably the rarest playmat I have.
Competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! When was this in your life?
Uh,
We're going to take a minute and get to know this asshole who keeps telling you all of these things that he alleges are facts.
6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I'm 32 now, so math would say I was in my mid-20s.
Sounds dubious to me.
Oh.
But he alleges it to be the truth. How long did you play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Intermittently. I still have most of my cards, so on that little stint, it was about 3 years.
How would you compare Yu-Gi-Oh to Magic the Gathering?
One's fun.
That is true.
Corey agrees.
Every few years in Yu-Gi-Oh, which this is actually a bold design decision, they will come out with an entirely new mechanic, like game-changing, Master Rules update. They change the entire structure of the game around it. So, I'm sure you remember a little bit from when we were younger.
Yeah.
Normal monsters, fusion monsters, ritual monsters. Right? So one
Are
was,
these Yu-Gi-Oh things?
These are Yu-Gi-Oh things.
I
So
don't.
like there was purple creatures, which you had to use a fusion spell, and you could take the knight and the dragon, and that's a dragon riding, knight riding the dragon. Dragon riding the knight would be hilarious. I think we've seen that. That was in Shrek. Except for the knight was a donkey.
Oh.
But yeah. But on the Master Rule update, I think it was like 6. They introduced Link summoning, and it was supposed to be a way to bottleneck special summoning because Yu-Gi-Oh! Effectively boiled down to here's my extra deck where like your fusion monsters would be.
Yeah. Extra deck.
So it's almost like a sideboard, and if you play the 2 fusion cards and the fusion spell, you grab it from out of there, right? But the extra deck had become pretty much your main deck, and the entire 40-card deck was geared towards how you get your extra deck out. It was just special summon spam. You can only normal summon once a turn. You can special summon as much as you want. So everybody tailored their deck to just slam out a board as fast as possible and just nuke your opponent, Zerg Rush style. So their way to stop that is they created 2 new slots on the field. So you had 5 monster zones. You couldn't have any more than that.
No more than 5 monster zones.
Yeah. And then there were 2 in the middle between mine and yours. And the links, which were extra deck monsters, would literally have arrows pointing to the other slots. You can only special summon into one of those 2 slots. And if you take one, the other one's good for your opponent. So you get to pick if you're first. So you could either just summon your one guy, or you could summon a link that would give you 2 arrows, or maybe even 3, and then you could summon another link here and go up. And they turned the board with the limited slots into like a floodgate. Now that said, they released a card. It's like Barrel Dragon, double barrel. It was anyway. It's banned, or it was banned last I looked.
Good.
And before it even came to America, after it was announced, because they released in Japan like 3 months early, there were about 20 different infinite combos with it. So instead of slowing it down, it sped it up. Anyway, I don't do Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. They've fixed link summoning. Supposedly it's good again. I won't start playing again until they bring Dark Destroyer back to 3. You don't understand what that means, but there's an archetype that is Wizard of Oz combined with Star Wars.
Oh, naturally.
And Dark Destroyer is the Silver Slipper and the Star Destroyer.
I feel like that kid in the Black Cauldron when he's like, hey, where did that pig go? And he like walks one screen over to figure out where the pig went, and he realizes he's in this crazy dark woods. He doesn't have any idea what's going on anymore.
Yeah. Well, then, I mean, you should. This is a Magic podcast.
It's a Magic podcast.
You wouldn't know today.
But maybe you know how Yu-Gi-Oh works.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is probably the shittiest.
It's a hybridized
While we're still on
podcast.
topic before we go, shout out to Wise Guys. They're still around. Good people. Met some good friends on there. So, Warhold.
Oh, real quick. That's another great aspect. Magic is a social game. So is
Yes.
Yu-Gi-Oh. So are all these card games. They are social games.
Yes.
Lest we forget.
Right. All right.
Lest we decide to skip our deodorant when we're going to play our social game.
Yeah, screw it. Most of us can't smell anyway. COVID.
There we go.
You
I made so many friends when I had COVID.
Do you want to go over Silver Quill real fast for the people who don't know much about the color palette?
All right, Silver Quill, white black. Exciting color. It's always such an exciting color combo.
Yeah.
I feel like the friendly colors get done more often. The enemy colors are a little bit exciting for that reason, but there's so many enemy colors like blue-green that feel kind of like, oh, okay, growth of knowledge, growth of body. You get so much makes sense out of it. White-black just, to me, has always felt like these are the true enemies. You are seeing something exceptional here.
Right.
Silver Quill, obviously you got vampires and stuff. But what it is the aggressive setup. So many nasty magecrafts that give like +1/+0.
It plays like
things
Boros,
like that.
but it's in good colors.
Yeah, exactly.
A good color pair.
Boros, except that the removal is a little more absolute in both directions, and with white just being like, all right, just exile it. I don't even want to deal with it coming back. Black, lovely colors, and it has a lot of, as a result of white's little buffs and black's little buffs, but then also its magecraft abilities. It has the ability to just explode the power of your small creatures. So it's the aggressive idea.
Yeah. All right. And in the lore, they're wordsmiths, so he would be Silver Quill because he's a lawyer. And we all know all lawyers go to hell. I saw that on a cartoon.
And most lawyers already live in it.
Yeah.
Lawyers do have the highest rate of substance abuse, highest rate of stress-related illnesses, highest depression rate, and second highest suicide rate of all professions.
Isn't it beat out by dentists?
Dentists win for suicide. Dentists have just enough hope to actually do something about it.
There is no non-morbid explanation for that for me other than I think they just realized that they have no purpose. And that sounds so shitty. Like, I have a friend that's a dentist. I've had this conversation. And he's like, no, but that's funny. I'm not trying to bash on the profession. We need dentists. We can't end up like Europe. If you're in Europe, that was a joke.
Well, if we want to dig into the truth of it, the majority of the problem is that no one's excited to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody likes their dentist. It's their own fault.
Right.
Your dentist didn't give you cavities. You did. Stop eating so much sugar and brush your teeth. But anyway.
Don't eat the pudding.
Yeah, exactly. You're always upset to go see your dentist, and they are a human being, and they can tell when every single person who ever meets with them acts like an asshole and acts like it's their fault.
Yeah.
It makes them depressed. Same way with a lawyer.
Yeah.
Another Two Toms who does not sponsor us. This is 90% Two Toms and 3% Junk Ditch. I don't understand how those percentages work, but this is a Choose Your Lager Crispy. They got together, teamed up, and gave us... Sniff this. This is beautiful.
I'll try.
It's got almost a burnt marshmallow nose.
Wow. I can smell that. That
Yeah.
means it's strong.
Yeah. Another very beautiful beer.
Yeah, that's good.
Two Toms makes great beer. I can't say that they are one of my all-time favorite breweries, but everything that they do is always fascinating.
Yeah, that's
And I think there's a high value in that.
this tastes like a dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a reward. Not I've had a long day at work and I'm depressed beer. This is I've had a long day and I'm depressed with spice.
Like maybe you were a lawyer or a dentist.
Silver Quill. So the Silver Quill pre-con guys, if you don't know already, Felissa Fang is Silver Quill, 2 colorless, a white and a black. Legendary creature, vampire, wizard, flying, mentor. Mentor is when this creature attacks, put a +1 counter on the target attacking creature with lesser power. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, create X. Tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature tokens with flying where X's numbers counters it had on it. 3/2. Now, I really like this card. In Ikoria, the precon, I don't know if you remember, it's like Teova or something like that. It's white, black, green, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it put a vigilance counter on them. And then it can eat 3 counters off creatures you control to resurrect a small creature. So I just feel Felissa goes right in that deck. I don't think that this is what you build around. There are better Orzhov commanders, but she is great supplementary support for other decks. And then we got Brina the Demigod. I love the word Demigod.
Demigod is a great word.
It is a colorless.
Let's talk about Demigod real quick.
Okay.
Because, again, Magic teaches you vocabulary. Look these words up. Look these words up, and you'll become a better person. You'll go around extirpating things like some kind of a demigod.
Or Magma Carta.
Yeah.
Which is the name of a card in the set.
Okay, don't be fooled by all of the puns.
Honor Troll.
They're true words. Yeah, exactly, like Honor Troll. So a demagogue is someone who rises to power by playing on the current fears of the populace.
Not gonna touch.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
gonna hit the obvious current political thing, but you take a world that is obsessed with a certain fear. You have a culture, and they're afraid that they're going to be invaded by some bunch of pirates.
This is the
demigod
combination of
would-
white and black. So if you got,
Yeah,
by any means necessary, for the good of the people, a demigod is a great flavor translation of that.
there we go. Whatever you're afraid of, that's what I will protect you from.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to rise against.
So keep that in mind as you read it. So it is a colorless white and a black legendary creature, bird warlock. I like that. It's good typing. 1/3 flying. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that opponent has more life than another of your opponents. The attacking player draws a card, and you put 2+1 counters on a creature you control. So I will save you from that guy that's beating you. I'm going to be the one to help you, so you don't want to hurt me.
That is some awesome top-down design.
Yes.
Great vocabulary. That is a total win.
Love it.
That is a total win.
All right, next up, we have Prismari. You want to go through the rundown?
So Prismari is blue-red. They're all about the big spells. Your magma opus.
Yeah. Passion and creativity.
Passion and creativity. Does art come from the excitement and the passion, or from the careful planning that it takes to do it? Well, you'll find that out if you attend Prismari College, and specifically you'll find that out as you are playing a bunch of crazy evasive assholes and nice removal and punching your opponent in the face while you not so much ramp but reduce the cost of some shockingly huge and dazzling spells.
Yes. All right. So first off, for that deck, we've got Zafi, Thunder Conductor, 2 colors, so blue and red. This card got some online popularity because it was errated before it was ever printed. Legendary creature, Human Shaman, 1/4, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If the spell's mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Zafi Thunder Collector, not Conductor.
Whoa!
Deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random. That's what they fixed. They had the name wrong. So
They had the name wrong.
that implies to me that at one point it was Thunder Collector, and I was wondering if, like, as you cast spells, you get things.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe you got instead of Scry 1, you got a treasure token.
I bet you almost anything that Mark Rosewater will eventually release some kind of backstory for
I love
that card's development.
I'd love to just hang out with him one day.
I would love to read infinite amounts of what he has to say. I feel like if I was in the same room as him, I would be overwhelmed.
Veyron, Voice of Duality, which is cool with Prismari because passion versus it's almost like nurture versus nature, but passion versus intellect.
Nice.
Colorless, blue and red. Legendary creature, Ifrit Wizard, 2/2, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Veyron, Voice of Duality gets +1/+1 until end of turn. But this isn't why it's good. This guy is just busted. If you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, if you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So its Magecraft triggers twice, just by itself. So this is basically double prowess, but anything else that you have that triggers off cast. So all your other Magecraft activates twice. It's effectively doubling season for a spell deck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes. All right, Witherbloom.
Witherbloom, they advertise it as the goth biologists. So the question of does life create death, or does death create life in this infinite cycle? And the answer is just make a lot of little guys and then sacrifice them to bigger guys.
For life.
Yeah, and get benefits out of that, like life gain, and then do sexy black and green things with that life gain.
Yeah. All right, so we got Will-O-Dusk, Essence Seer, colorless, black and a green, legendary creature and Dryad Druid, 3/3, 1 colorless, tap. Choose another target creature, put a number of +1 counters on it equal to the amount of life you've gained this turn, or the amount of life you've lost this turn, whichever is greater. Activate only as a sorcery. It's cool with First Strike and Lifelink, which is really easy to do. You run stuff like Whip of Erebos. Black was secondary and First Strike for a long time. I don't think they are anymore, but you got a bunch of them early knights that always had First Strike. You've got the Infect guy from Mirrodin. That's First Strike and pro white and red. And then, so those are just cool things. The next one is another flavor win,
Hey.
and pun intended. Giyami, Yummy. Master Chef. 2 colorless, black and a green, legendary creature, troll warlock, 5/3. Trample. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of non-token creatures you had enter the battlefield under your control. Pay colorless, sack of food. Target creature gains indestructible till end of turn and tap it.
Wow. So I'm a green mage at heart, and I have absolutely loved green stompy decks, and probably my favorite version is Troll Food, and I'm still running that
Yeah?
unchanged through Strixhaven, and it's still kicking ass for me.
Really?
Anyway, does the Henge, does the Troll King, do these see play in Commander? You guys
the
into
Great
that?
Henge?
Yeah, the Great
The
Henge.
Great Henge is like a $50 card because of Commander.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. If I see them in a collection, I'm like always trying to buy it because they evaporate.
Wow.
I had one for not even 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, that card's broken. It reduces its own cost. If you can get it for 2, it replaces its mana.
Yeah.
It gains you life. It puts a +1 counter on your dudes and draws you cards. That's literally everything you want in Commander.
A perfect engine, yeah.
Yeah. And,
Perfect engine.
And then you look at White's Great Circle, and that's why people are mad.
Which is White's
the
Great
knight-
Circle.
The circle table, whatever it is, for knights.
Oh,
It
right.
costs less for each knight you control.
Yeah.
And then you can make knights. But then you pair that against
Against the Great
Henge.
Henge.
And it's part of the same. Now, not all cycles are created equally. And I agree with that sentiment, but White's been weak for a while. You clearly pushed one, and none of those are like Embercleave will see some competitive play in some niche decks, just because it rewards you for being aggressive. It's flash, and it auto equips. That's a lot. It does a lot. Maul the Skyclave would see play too if it had flash, and it still kind of sees some play in like a Pioneer niche deck because it's free evasion.
I mean, it's all over standard.
Yeah, I mean it's an enchantment that stays.
Yeah.
But like Embercleave, which I mean, give red support.
Embercleave is shockingly good. Embercleave is kind of one of those, like, why isn't it banned?
Yeah. So
You know?
my story with Embercleave is I did not take that card seriously at all. I saw it. I'm like, this is Commander trash. I went on to my next scroll as I was prepping for pre-release. I got to the finals in pre-release, and the guy had Embercleave, and we went to time as every game came down to he couldn't break through my defenses until he got Embercleave. I was like, oh, you just nuke me with whatever I don't block.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
Embercleave, it's just a nuke. It's like a Hearthstone card.
yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm playing a card game, and then all of a sudden your opponent's like, Embercleave, I win. You're just like, I thought you were worse and had worse cards, and they're like, but I had Embercleave. Well, I guess you do win authoritatively.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Quandrix, which I love the flavor of, but it's green-blue, so I can't get into it in Commander.
Quandrix. Ramp.
Yeah.
I mean,
And big X boys.
yeah, there's more to it than that. There's a lot of X spells. They're all about math. They like multiplying and increasing and adding and all these different things that just make their stuff fatter and fatter. And they do all of this while they are just stuffing lands onto your board so that when the time comes to do something with all of these giant growing creatures, well, you're able to do that.
Yeah. All right, so for Quandrix, first off we have Essex Fractal Bloom, 4 colorless green and a blue, legendary creature Fractal, which is fun.
Yeah.
4/4. Flying. The first time you would create one or more tokens during each of your turns, you may instead choose a creature other than Essex Fractal Bloom and create that many tokens that are copies of that creature. So, if you play Avenger of Zendikar and you've got 14 lands because Quandrix likes to slam things down, you can make 14 Avenger of Zendikars, and then each of those will make 14 1/1s.
Wow.
It's exponential growth. It's what they want. What's that merfolk, Corey? The the 2 cast that makes the 1/0 elementals.
Master Wave.
Master of Waves, similar thing. He comes in, he creates a number of 1/0s equal to your devotion to blue. So you'll get that many Master of Waves, which will become that many more. It's just a dumb card.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we have Adrix and Nev, twin casters, 2 colorless, green and a blue. Ward 2, love Ward. Well, we used to call it Frost Armor. But,
It's a nice little effect.
yeah. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of tokens are created instead. Half a doubling season, but it's on your commander.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. Both of those guys are good. Like, I like that green blue's playable this set. It's pretty damn good in the commander precon, but it's not broken. But all right, so next I'm going to go through. We still got a little bit of time. I'm going to talk about some of the key cards.
Okay. Hey, real quick, you feel like Ward feels like a time spiral era
Yeah,
effect, like a gotcha effect.
yeah, definitely.
And once you've played 20 games of limited with Ward, or 20 games against any creature with Ward, it's a thing. It doesn't affect the game much. It's just a little thing.
If you've ever played around Mana Leak with a removal spell, you know exactly how Ward feels.
Yeah, but those first times you're playing with it, you forget that it's on there.
Right.
You know, it's gotcha. It's like flipping over your morph.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we got Archaeomancer's Map, 2 colorless and white. This is probably the most sought-after card in this commander cycle. It's an artifact. It's a white artifact. Whenever Archaeomancer's Map enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards. Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield.
Wow.
This card's nuts. White is the king of flickering. This card is just value. It's not a mana rock, but it basically is, because you're going to play it turn 3. You're going to pass. Your opponent's going to play a land. You're going to play a land. Because you're probably the only mono white deck.
Yeah.
Um,
That's pretty nuts. If anyone is playing any kind of a ramp deck,
yeah.
then you're just
Right.
it's just so much more advantage for you.
All right. Then we've got where is it? Excavation technique. 3 colorless and a white sorcery, and it's got a new keyword: demonstrate. When you cast a spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Players may choose new targets for their copies. Destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. So, I can nuke 1 thing and give 2 treasure tokens. Or I can nuke 2 things, give out 4 treasure tokens, and somebody else can do it. This is all sorts of politics. Love it. Next we have Lashiel, Clockwork Scholar, 2 colorless and a white, legendary creature, Elephant Artificer. I thought it's a 2/4. Before I read this ability, I thought this card was cute but not very viable. I left it in the pre-con that I bought just to try it out, and I'll just read it. Prevent all combat damage will be dealt to attacking artifact creatures you control. That really matters with the artifact commander and the Lorehold deck. But whenever 1 or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability can only trigger once each turn. White cantrip. It's only 1 cantrip. It's a cantrip. Every turn. And then Monologue Tax. This card's like the most meh, but still noteworthy card. Whenever an opponent casts a second spell each turn, you create a treasure token.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of white ramp.
Yes.
Conditional white ramp.
All right, the blue demonstrate spell. 4 colorless and a blue sorcery. Demonstrate, create a token that's a copy target permanent you control. Hilarious with doubling season and something else. So I'm going to demonstrate, target my creature that I want a lot of. And then I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy my doubling season. Now that's going to put 2 doubling seasons out. So when you copy whatever you were originally copying, you're going to put 9 of them out.
Wow.
Or 1, 2, 4, 6. You're going to put 6 of them out. And if you really wanted, you could just target doubling season twice and just get, what Quandrix wants, exponential growth.
They love that.
Yeah.
That's even one of their cards.
Yeah. This card I really like. It's mostly because it goes in your command zone. Fane the Broker, 2 colorless and a black, legendary creature, human warlock, 3/3. Tap, sacrifice a creature, put 2/+1 counters on target creature. Tap, remove a counter from a creature you control, create a treasure token. Tap, sacrifice an artifact, create a 2/1 white, white and black inkling creature token with flying. So you can just go in a loop. Pay 3 colorless and a black, untap, Fane the Broker.
Nice.
Yes. Let's see. What's the black demonstrate? Incarnation Technique. 4 colors and a black. Sorcery Demonstrate. Mill 5 cards and return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's decks that like this. I wish it was an even CMC for Corey. What's the blue-black companion? Kyuga? No, that.
I just know by the Godzilla art.
What's the Godzilla name? Huh?
Geigen.
It's 4 colorless and 2 hybrid Dimir. You mill 6. You out of those 6, you can put a creature with even CMC into play. So you just run all the clones that are even, and you mill through your whole deck, and you win with just cheating through magic.
You Thassa's Oracle or something?
Yeah.
Nice.
So red got some really cool cards. 2 colorless and a red artifact equipment. Equipped creature has haste. Whenever an ability equipped creature is activated, if it is a mana ability, you may pay 1. If you do, copy that ability and choose new targets.
If it is a mana ability?
Isn't.
Isn't. Okay.
That card's gonna see play for a while. It's gonna do stupid things. Cursed Mirror, probably my favorite red mana rock. I like how they're doing red mana rocks. There's the Lava Gates that is like a pseudo Wrath from a few commander sets ago. But this is 2 colorless and a red, tapped at artifact, tapped at a red. As Cursed Mirror enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste.
Interesting.
Yes.
Nice.
And then we have Creative Technique, 4 colorless and a red, Sorcery Demonstrate. Shuffle your library, then reveal cards from the top of it until you reveal a non-lane card. Exile that card and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. This is a fair Mind's Desire.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. This card's fun. It'll see play. Ruin Grinder, 5 colorless and red, artifact creature construct. 7/4 menace. Whenever it dies, each player discards their hand and may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. This will see some Cart Clan shenanigans. I don't have COVID. I have allergies. Yeah, sounds like something somebody with COVID would say.
Yeah.
As a root channeler, 5 colorless and a green, creature tree folk druid, 4/6, so he's got a big ass like most tree folk. Reach, creature spells you cast cost X less the cast, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn, tap to gain 2 life. I was helping somebody build a Witherbloom, the Soul Steeper chick commander deck, and they've got the Great Hinge in this. So Great Hinge is tap, add 2 green, gain 3 life, or 2 life, or whatever. And this is tap, gain 2 life. So you now have 6 mana for a creature, effectively.
Now, wait a minute. I just suddenly thought of something. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
So Great Henge in Commander, is it really that good?
Yes.
Yeah.
But doesn't somebody at all times have a board wipe?
No.
I mean, are you not just like, here's my deck, and someone's like, Wrath of God?
No. A lot of, depending on your play group, there's a lot of people. But you've got to hope that there's a white player in your play group.
Because they keep your
Yeah.
Henge guy in check.
Yeah. But that said, I have a Skullbriar Walking Grave deck. Do you know what he does?
No.
Black and a green, haste, 1/1. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may put a +1 counter on him. Counters stay on him in all zones other than hand and library.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
So you just keep
one of my strategies.
resurrecting him,
Yes.
he just keeps getting fatter?
One of my legitimate strategies. I can make him unblockable, or I can Damnation, recast him, and hit you for game. Haste. Yes. So sometimes,
A shotgun waiting for you.
Yeah.
huh?
It's like having a loaded shotgun just.
It
waiting for
is.
somebody.
There have been games where I'm sitting there. I just passed turn. I'm set up. This is my kitty glove deck. I play it because I can't beat everybody at once. I can just really fuck someone up. So I'll play it. I'll have my board set up, and then everybody's just kind of like, oh, one of us is dying next turn. So like it's the table talk, and I just get to watch. As like my friend group's like, how do we answer this? Somebody's like, kill it. Can't kill it. Kill it during his attack step. I don't have any instance. And they're just talking, so I know that they don't have shit. Unless Corey's at the table. Corey is like the least table talking person I've ever played Magic with. And this man will straight cut his nose off, spite his face. He will avoid countering anything unless it's paramount or like if there's another control player, he'll wait for them to do it. He will let game-breaking board states happen to not play his counterspell.
He's the most patient man in Magic the Gathering.
He is. It's frustrating. Anyway, we got a little bit more time. Let me try and at least get the demonstrate spells.
He's been awfully patient with us.
Yes. 3 colorless and a green. Healing technique. Demonstrate. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty good. You gain life equal to its CMC. Or mana value. Exile it. So if you copy it, it's literally just paying 2 regrowths plus life gain. All right.
Sweet.
Let's see. What other good cards are in here? Triplicate Titan. This is an interesting card. 9 colorless. Artifact creature golem 9/9. Flying vigilance trample. Whenever Triplicate Titan dies, create a 3/3 colorless creature artifact golem creature token with flying. 3/3 colorless artifact creature token with vigilance, and 1 with trample. So it's Worm Coil Engine, but not as good, but still good. But yeah, that's kind of our overview and thoughts on some of the new Commander cards. We're about at that hour mark, so we're going to be wrapping it up. Any final thoughts? Something that we skipped over you want to touch on?
No.
Pudding rants?
You're not going to eat pudding anymore. Not out of a buffet.
Eat it with your hands.
Yeah. I don't care if you're wearing a mask or not. You're not going to be eating the pudding on a buffet.
And then I've got...
Don't act like you're brave.
You mean the...
Go to Rax and prove it.
Don't get a suit by
All right?
Rax.
Come at me with a mask or with no mask, acting like you're going to eat the pudding. You're not going to eat the pudding.
And thank you to the people that don't sponsor us but should.
Two Toms, if you're watching this, surely you have better to be doing.
Yeah, you don't have to anyway. We're already plugging your product.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're terrible at this.
Oh, we screwed this all up.
Yeah, this is free advertisement.
We don't like Two Toms, but we might.
Yes.
We had a little green.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. We'll see you next game.
iScoop.